whether you should do your MBA from India or whether you should do your MBA from abroad. It's a really popular question. A lot of people are stuck in this conundrum. Truth be told, when I actually was applying for business schools, I was stuck in this conundrum myself. And I believe my consultant mindset pushed me to actually build an Excel model, which I'm going to be sharing with all of you, the kind of data driven decision that I took back then, that you can also take a leaf from my book and start building data driven decisions for your MBA decisions as well. I think taking decision is one of the most hardest and one of the most important skill set that you can have in your life. And I want to actually share one thing about this entire conundrum of studying for your MBA in India or outside. Largely, there is no one right answer. And let me start with that. And in fact, if someone is trying to actually influence you that you should study for your MBA in India or you should study your MBA from outside, I think that could be a trap. That could be just influencing 101. Because everyone's goals, everyone's financial status, everyone's objectives are extremely unique and extremely personal to those people. And hence in this video we will go through a step-by-step process through which you will be identifying your personal goals, your professional goals, what are the parameters that you should be mindful of, and then eventually build your own personal answer rather than just get influenced by someone else. That answer could have worked for someone else, but it may not necessarily work for you as well. So with that, let's directly jump into this video. What are we going to be doing when we think of building a data-driven decision around this entire question of MBA in India or MBA from outside? So there are 3 steps. Step number 1, we will identify parameters based on which you should be taking a decision. So that's step number 1. Step number 2 is we will be allocating weightages, percentage weightages to each of these parameters. Now the weightage may differ for me versus you. For example, return on investment was an extremely important weightage for me. I may give it a 20% weightage out of 100% in my Excel model. However, you may say that Shatakshi, return on investment is not as important for me. So I am going to give that parameter a 10% weightage over a 20% weightage. And that's what I mean, that you are going to be building your own personal answer rather than just copy paste someone else's answer. And step number 3 is you are going to be comparing 2 schools based on that parameter. So for example, return on investment, right? For example, the return on investment, for example, from ISB is going to be high. So you are going to be giving it a 3 versus, let's say, the return on investment from, hypothetically, let's say London Business School is relatively less, then I'm going to be giving a 1 on a scale of 3. So we will be actually going through this step-by-step, 3-step process, identifying the parameter, getting the weights right, and then giving it a score for 9 parameters. For 2 schools, they could be hypothetically Indian School of Business versus London Business School, and then let's see where the net score would be higher for which school, and that should be your answer, whether you should be studying your MBA from India versus outside. So with that, let's directly jump into the parameters. What would be the parameter number 1? For me, it is about investment. What is that base cost, or return on investment is second parameter, right? But let's really talk about investment. Let's say hypothetically you do not get scholarship, you do not come from a flamboyant family, and you are not comfortable splurging almost 1.5 crore for a degree from Harvard or Stanford, right? In that scenario, what do you do? I would say that investment, let's say, could be a parameter which is 15% important for you. And for example, the MBA from India cost almost around 33 to 35 lakhs versus an MBA from London Business School would cost you almost around 80 to 90 lakhs. Hence, you would give for investment ISB a 3 on 3 versus for LBS, let's say a 2 or a 1.5 on a scale of 3. So that's first parameter. What is the second parameter? The second parameter is the probability of you getting a job, which is really very interesting. I would once again give this parameter a 10% weightage. Now, if let's say within India, you're doing your MBA not from ISB, but from some institute which is in the state which is not even coming on FT rankings, then the probability of you getting a job is extremely low. Let me share a stat with you. Only 7% of MBA students are employable in India. And that's largely because the world of MBA, there are almost 5,000 business schools in India. way more than just the ISB and the IIMs of the world. And if you end up being in an MBA institute where you're not even getting a job because the professors didn't teach you legitimately good business skills, and the school was not helping you in terms of building a network for you to get a job, then probably you may not be employable at the end of the day. And similarly, there are schools in Europe, because of the entire visa issues or because of the entire immigration issues in Australia as well, also, because of which you may have to come back to India without a job, right? And hence the entire probability of you just getting a bare minimum job, not a job of your dream, just a bare minimum job, becomes really important second parameter, for which I will once again give a 20% weightage. That's point number 2. And we move to point number 3. Point number 3 is about return on investment, right? We talked about your investment, we talked about your return, which is getting a job. Then you talk about a return on investment. When you talk about return on investment, it definitely depends upon the time horizon. I would not take a very short-term time horizon, which could be 1 to 2 years. I believe that's not really the right way to go about evaluating your investments. And we can, I think practically it is not really feasible if you look at a really long-term time horizon, which could be for 10 years as well. So let's take at a look of your 5-year time horizon, which could be a short to medium term, right? So let's say for ISB, I had put in 35 lakhs and my first job actually was for 33 lakhs, and then I grew over that investment year on year. You divide the two based on the recurring salary you get, and that's how you arrive at a return on investment. So that's another third financial pillar or a financial parameter based on which I would be gauging whether I should be going to a business school in India or a business school outside. We move to a very interesting fourth pointer, which is around location. Location is a really important parameter, especially when you're looking for an MBA outside. Are you really interested to work in Silicon Valley in US? Or are you really interested to work for private equity firms in New York? Location becomes really very important, right? If you're really keen to just study outside, experience the entire international education ecosystem, then you would have to give a high weightage to the business school that you have put in your columns. Let's say London Business School, INSEAD, NYU Stern, Howard Business School. You would give a high weightage to them and a high weightage to this parameter, and a high score to this particular business school and a low score to the business school in India. So that's the fourth parameter for you. The fifth parameter is extremely important around the cohort that you surround yourself with. Are you fine having an Indian cohort, or are you really looking forward to an international cohort coming from really diverse background, different walks of life, different geographies? If that is another motivating factor for you, give it a high weightage again. Do know that the entire percentage weightage that you have is from 100%. So all the parameters weightage needs to stack up to 100% again. So it's relative grading, relative weightage. You cannot just give 20% weightage to all these parameters, because then it's like everything is important, but there are relative priorities, right? And once again, you would give a low score to an Indian business school like IIMs or ISBs and so many other tier 2 IIMs and other FMS, etc., because truth be told, they are not as internationally diverse as we would love them to be. When I was at ISB, I would say 10% of the cohort was international, Canadian students from Nigeria, a few students from Europe, but not as internationally diverse as your Ivy Leagues of the world. So that's parameter 5th for you. What could be a 6th parameter? It's really important, which is about job goals. What do you really want to crack after MBA? People typically, when they think of doing an MBA degree, they're just stuck or mesmerized rather by this entire flashy world of doing an MBA. They think that the MBA would be a magic wand and through which they can actually polish their skills, become managers, become these senior leaders, which is really far away from reality. Until or unless you do not know what goals have you set for your own self, it will be really hard for you to actually achieve those dreams. For example, I was really clear when I was applying for my business schools that I wanted to get into McKinsey, BCG or Bain. and I had my Oxford Side Business School offer, and I had the Indian School of Business offer. I chose Indian Business School, Indian ISB over Oxford Side because ISB is a quote unquote consulting school, and Oxford Side is a social impact, a business for social purpose school. Both really unique, but my goals aligned more with ISB in that sense. Similarly, if you want to work in private equity or venture capital, right? Once again, the schools in the east coast of US would be a great platform for you to build network and get that launch pad, primarily because in India, for example, the firms that hire for private equity and venture capital, they actually feed into the MBB exit. So for example, when I was leaving BCG, few venture capital firms and private equity firms also reach out to me if I would be interested to work for them. However, they do not go to the IM ABC or ISBs of the world in India for recruitment. They actually reach out to the MBB exits in India. However, if you are actually in US, NYU Stern, Wharton especially, you will have a higher probability of working in private equity and venture capital right after your business school. So the sixth parameter, which is around what your job goal is, right, becomes really very important because schools have certain strengths. Schools have certain advantages. ISB, for example, is a consulting and a product management school. If you're really into product management and consulting, you should join ISB. But if you really want to work in venture capital and private equity, Oxford Side will not solve for you fantastically well, neither ISB nor the IMABC. In that case, the East Coast schools in US would be a fantastic platform for you to start building your career. So that's parameter 6. We move on to the 7th parameter, which is the network. Network is extremely important because your first job could be influenced by the school, but the truth of the matter is that you would take that job for 2 or 3 years. After that, you may want to switch over, and that's when the network comes really very handy. Uh, there are few schools which are really having small community. For example, the Tuck Business School, the Cambridge Judge Business School, and they thrive on really high quality network than just the quantity of the network. So if you're a Tucky and you reach out to another Tucky who had graduated 10 years ago, there's a high probability that other Tucky who had graduated 10 years ago would respond to you. Versus if you want to thrive on the number than the quality of the network. I'm not saying that the quality is really poor, but the number, for example, for HBS is really big. The number for IM ABC is big because IM is a community unlike ISB, which is a standalone school, and IMs have been existent for a very long period of time than ISB. But of course, the world is changing. The senior partners at BCG, at McKinsey, are now coming from ISBs because they had been in that entire pyramid they have been climbing the ladder at ISB and IM, and hence there are finally people from ISB who are actually at the top most layer at the consulting firms. So you need to be really mindful of the network that you are going to be latching onto, or you are going to be leveraging, or you are going to be giving back as well. What kind of network do you want? Do you want small community? Do you want a larger community? Or do you want a legacy community like what Harvard Business School and Stanford have, so on and so forth? So that's the network parameter for you. We're almost at the second last parameter, which is a 1-year MBA versus a 2-year MBA. I did a 1-year MBA along with an exchange semester because I wanted to not just compound on return on investment. I wanted to actually get an international experience as well. But the 1-year MBA could be extremely fast paced for you. If you're someone who is looking at education not from the point of view of getting a job, not just from the point of view of return on investment, you just want to relax, you have been in the market for a very long time, you have been working for a very long time, and you just really want to relax. I'm not saying that a 2-year MBA is going to be relaxing, but a 2-year MBA is going to be relatively slower paced than a 1-year MBA of INSEAD or an ISB, right? And that's why I always say that you cannot actually pick up an answer for MBA India versus MBA outside from someone else. You need to build your own answer. So that's the second last parameter for you, which brings me to my last point around MBA India versus MBA outside, which is related to the exam, of course. So in India, 90% of your MBA or business schools will be asking for CAT, versus MBA outside is actually driven primarily based on GMAT. And of course, in India, ISB also takes GMAT. When I started preparing for my journey, my MBA journey, I was very clear I did not want to prepare for CAT. Why? I come from St. Stephen's College, a liberal arts institute. I am not an IIT, and I'm not saying that I do not have the mathematical rigor, but I did not want to run the race for which other students have a lot of strategic advantage. When I say other students, I mean the IITians of the world. Because they have cracked the mathematical exam at the stage of 11th and 12th, no doubt they will have a starting stronger position than me, right? And hence I picked up an exam called GMAT versus CAT, where English, verbal, mathematics all together will comprise my score. Then just I'm just struggling for something like a CAT exam. I'm not saying CAT is bad or GMAT is good. Just with respect to the fitment of my strengths, I realized that GMAT is an easier exam to crack, and hence I picked up the entire pool of schools which could be attacked with the GMAT exam. That's it from my side. As we are almost towards the end of this video, I will be sharing a screenshot that should be on this just right now on my screen, where I will share all the parameters with all the weightages comparing two schools, ISB versus, let's say, London Business School, based on the weightage I have, based on my choices or my priorities, and let's see which school wins. I would highly urge you to build an Excel sheet for yourself as well to align at a decision. People typically really get anxious, they are not calm, and they get fidgety about these decisions because they do not sit peacefully upon these parameters. They do not spend time with their own self, trying to figure out what kind of decision, what kind of priorities are important for them, rather than they just keep asking other people. They just do not write with a pen on paper, or they do not solve it on an Excel sheet. That's the most important thing that can kill anxiety, that can bring a lot of calmness in you. That's all from my side. Be sure to subscribe to the channel if you haven't yet. I intend to put out a lot of these videos around MBA, around management consulting, public policy, mental well-being, and of course, personal finance. Thank you so much. Take care. Stay safe. Bye. Subscribe right now so that you get notified every time, every day, whenever I'm putting up my videos on career advancement, personal finance, and lots of productivity hacks.